And greetings from Augusta, Georgia, the beautiful Garden City, home of James Brown. I feel good. Papa's got a brand new bag. Sucks machine. This is a man's world. Come here, dog. Sit. Sit. Now jump. Good boy. Good boy. Now stay out of my damn plants. All right, today we're going to talk about two different things. We're going to talk about feeding your plants and also protecting your plants. Now, you may be thinking that after I've done all the work of plowing everything up, putting the seeds down, and start seeing those little sprouts coming up, that I could just set it and forget it, like those old Ronco commercials. Well, no. Your plants need to eat. Now, the first thing I'm going to tell you is don't go to the store and buy Miracle-Gro. Several reasons for this. Number one, the stuff is expensive. Second thing, it is not organic. It is chemicals that you are spraying on your plants, and we really want to avoid chemicals whenever we can. And the third thing is Miracle-Gro is really actually formulated for flowers, not for crops. What you want is to go green. Instead of sending some of your stuff to the landfill, create your own landfill. They call it a compost pile. I call it a pit. Now, you can start your little pit using just a 5-gallon bucket or a big planter like that one over there, or you can spend 20 bucks on the lumber and make yourself a big box. And here's how we do it. With compost, you want 50% of what they call brown material and 50% of what they call green material. I call it alive material and dead material. Now, alive material is anything that's got juice in it, anything that's table scraps, banana peels, those sorts of things. Just throw them in your compost pile. Now, your brown material is going to be things like paper. You know, when those televangelists and politicians send you all the junk mail, just tear it up, shred it, throw it in your pile. Also, if you're lucky enough to have toilet paper, you can take the little spools, tear them up, throw them in your compost pile. Now, you spray some water on it, and every 4, 5, 6 days, once a week, whatever, they call it turning your compost pile. Actually, all you're doing is going in there with a shovel and just stirring the soup, stirring the pot, and that gets it all spread out. You get the stuff that's on the bottom, the compost first, up to the top, the sun comes down, and it's almost like baking a cake. It's so damn easy, even that Congresswoman AOC could figure it out. Okay, so that is with your compost. Now, one thing I do want to mention is you notice I put my compost pile at the very end of the house. Some people are afraid to do this because they think, well, it's going to attract mice. No, it's not going to attract mice unless you already have a mice problem. But it is going to attract flies. Not a whole lot of them. You're not going to get a plague, but I certainly wouldn't recommend you put your compost pile underneath your bedroom window and then open it up at night. Not real smart. You'll get out of my plants, dog. You all a part of having a family, and unfortunately that little mongrel is one of them. Anyway, put the compost pile just away because you are going to have flies and their larvae get in there. It's an important part of breaking down that material. There are some things that you don't have to compost. You can just put directly onto your plants. Coffee grinds. You get up in the morning, you make your wife or your husband, your significant other, whomever, a big old pot of coffee. You guys enjoy it together. Then you take the grounds outside, you put it in your tomato plants because the acid gets into the soil and into the roots and makes them nice and sweet and juicy. And then just take your coffee filter, throw it in the compost pile. You're being green. You're not sending it to the landfill. You're sending it to your own landfill. Now, one thing that you don't want to put into your compost pile is your dog's poop. Don't want to do that at all. And there's several reasons for that. First of all, it takes a whole lot longer to compost, believe it or not. And also, your dog is going to have some parasites in their poop, or the medication that your dog takes for whatever those parasites are, that's going to end up in the compost. That's going to end up in the soil. That's going to end up in your food. You don't want it. However, and we're going to be doing a video on raising chickens, but if you're raising chickens, chicken shit, that's great for plants. You don't have to compost it, just scrape it up, throw it on there, and you're good. So that's how you feed your plants. Now let's talk about protecting them real quick. Again, I don't like to use chemicals whenever. Now you go to Lowe's, Home Depot, these places, they will try to sell you every form of herbicide and pesticide. And here's the deal, folks. Herbicides, that kills off weeds. And some people think that they can be lazy and just spray down the weeds with the herbicide. And no, don't do that. Get off your lazy ass and pull the weeds up. You don't want to spray that stuff in because, yeah, it kills the weeds, doesn't kill the plants, but it still goes into the soil, into the roots, and eventually you are going to eat it. Now, in terms of pesticides, they will also sell you all kinds of chemicals. I've already pointed out to you that I keep marigolds because marigolds fend off the bad bugs and they attract bees, which we want. You also have to understand your garden becomes an entire ecosystem with all kinds of little bugs, earthworms, things in there. They're all doing their little thing. If you're doing your garden correctly, you're going to start seeing frogs, even though you don't have a pond in the backyard. And that's just because they become a part of that little ecosystem. You don't want to kill them off. Now, at some point, especially with your big leafy plants, you might end up with a little problem with insects. I recommend 7 Dust, not the granules, but the dust. You don't use it until you actually see a little bit of plant damage. Then just give it a very light dusting. And about 2 weeks later, give it one more real light dusting. And make sure that anything that you have put 7 Dust on, that you wash that produce real good. It doesn't get into the produce, but it does sit on the outside. And just wash your plants. So anyway, I hope that you like these videos. Please do me a favor, if you do like them, share them on Facebook and subscribe to my channel. And we'll have another video for you in a couple of days. Papa's got a brand new bag!